welcome to another live stream with me, Christian Rauchenwald, on this Friday afternoon. Today a little bit later than usual. I'm just double and triple checking if the stream is actually working. So there it says still waiting, although here it says I'm already live. Yeah, if somebody could confirm in the chat real quick if I'm already live or not. Yeah. Oh, now it's changing. Okay, now we're actually live. Yeah. So welcome to another episode of Daily Market Mastery. Today's going to be a short episode. We're just going to look over my current positions. I'm quickly going to go over GameStop and where I think it will move next. And we're also going to look at my last prediction from yesterday, how I thought it will play out and how accurate we were there. And then we're going to look quickly at a few other things. As always, however, the usual disclaimer applies. Everything that I share in this live stream / video is my personal opinion and in no way financial or professional advice of any kind. You should always do your own research, consult certified professionals, draw your own conclusions, and make your own decisions. Last but not least, today I finally got my Magic 8 Ball. Yeah, like Keith Gillen, aka Roaring Kitty, actually inspired me to get that thing. I think it's going to be funny in the long run to use the 8 Ball to make investment decisions, because who better to tell if a decision is good or bad other than some mystical plastic device. Yeah, that's it. Let's jump into the charts. We start with GameStop. Yeah, for those of you, I'm not going to recap everything that we did, because for that you can check out the episode from yesterday, the day before yesterday, and so on. However, so the big point is we had this wave 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 up here. Now I'm going to hide this, but not go away. And then we have a correctional wave here, and then we assume that this might be our next wave 1. Now on this part here, I'm not 100% certain, but that's also not the relevant part. Yeah, the biggest part is, like, based on this wave 1, 2, we would expect GameStop to next move at least into the area of 39 to 42 or almost 43, ideally, or most likely, however, into the area of 57 to 63. That will not happen overnight. Maybe it will take a week. Maybe it takes a little bit longer. The big question are always the correctional wave patterns, because or predicting or estimating how long they take is next to impossible. Yeah, at least for me. Maybe somebody else that has more experience with Elliott Wave Theory is already more convenient or more, I don't know, like more experience with estimating that as well. Now the curious part here is, like, that's here is one of, so we have a big wave 1, 2 that we don't see right now on the chart, and then we are in a big wave 3 in my opinion, and in this third wave we currently have wave 1 and wave 2, which means we are now in a third wave of a third wave, which means we would eventually expect stronger upwards movement. Yeah. Now that pattern stays valid until, or if we go below 22.79, then that pattern would become invalid. I don't see a reason to expect that happening. What I think is the case is that, again, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 for wave 1. We have A, B, C for wave 2. And now here, potentially, we have wave 1, 2. And looking how this plays out, that might be a small wave 3. We see that instead of to the usual level that I actually would have expected, so the 33, yesterday our prediction was based on this candle, so we expected the $30 mark. That actually happened. Yeah. Yeah, that's actually interesting. Yeah. So the big question is where we have the small wave 1, 2 here. Where is here wave 1? If that would be our wave 1, we see we don't reach our usual target. If however that would have already been our wave 1, which is, how low do we go here? Here we go to 25.56, and here we go 26.36, 25.61. Okay, here we go lower. So wave 1 would need to be at least here. And yeah, then we don't reach our target here. So we didn't reach the target area here that we would have expected. However, if our wave 1 would be this, so that would be 1, 2, then our wave 3 at least reaches our minimum targets, let's call them that, at 29 to 30.50. And then here we have another ABC wave correcting down. And then here we have the next wave 1, 2, which means on one hand, we would expect, oh, and then we have basically a short wave 5. Yeah? So potentially, so like, again, like on those small time frames, it's hard to label it accurately, but potentially we reach the minimum target area for wave 5. So that might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's interesting, which gives us a new 1, 2, so which makes this whole thing here potentially the next wave 1 and 2, which also means we could have from here down, if that is wave 1, then we could potentially have a little bit more retracement coming. However, we bounce precisely or almost precisely on the 50% retracement, which points or gives us, yeah, like either this is wave 2, and from here we're already in a wave 3 up, which would be the third wave of a third wave of a third wave, or this here is wave A, B, C, and we'll get another push down here, potentially then to for example, the 61.8 retracement, or potentially a little further. We couldn't go below 2480 because that would invalidate the idea that this is wave 1, 2. But it's still possible that we drop a couple of dollars to make this an ABC. So that it doesn't really change the long-term outlook. It just changes what happens today. If this is already wave 1 and wave 2 finished, we would expect stronger upward movement. Maybe we don't get to see it today, but we would then see it next week, because then this would be the third wave of a third wave of a third wave. Yeah. If that, however, is not yet wave 2 finished, then we would get A, B, C. So we just go a little higher, and then we bounce from here for our wave C. So that would then become A, B, C. Potentially to the 61.8 retracement at $27 roughly, $26.89, and then from there we would then start to see the strong upwards movement, which also means, like, while today we might actually finish below $30 per share, next week, so either today we already start the journey up in another 5 waves, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, with our next target area actually being this here. So if this is wave 1, 2, then we would expect for wave 3 to reach the $40 mark in 5 waves. So again, it would play out as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah. Potentially then during next week, it could drag out a little bit, because corrective waves can always be dragged out in some cases. Yeah. So reset the scale. So either way, if this will be A, B, C, and we'll get another push down, or if this is already wave 2 finished and we'll go up from here, as long as I didn't make a bigger mistake in my labeling somewhere else, we should actually see a journey up from here. Yeah. So wouldn't buy options that expire today anymore. So like a $30 call option. So bad idea. In general, I mean, I'm mostly selling options, as you all know, because there I get the premium paid, and worst case I get shares assigned, which brings me to my current position. So for this week I have the $30 put options that I could close right now. So at best they pay me $2,400 if we would end above $30 today, or I could close them or buy them back right now, to be precise, for $1,600. However, now with other stocks, I actually would take the gain and would say, okay, I rather take the 1,600 and avoid the shares. However, in case of GameStop, in combination with my opinion that from here we rally up, I'm looking at it this way. Either we are already finished with the corrective wave here and we'll get a rally, which means by 10 in the evening we should be above $30. So 10 in the evening for me. So by market close we should be above $30, and I just pocket the whole 2,400. And if we are below, I actually would almost prefer that, because then I pocket the 2,400, but I still get 400 shares for $12,000. Yeah, 400 shares for $12,000. So that's one of my options, or yeah, one of the options that I have. By the way, here we can see with the naked eye potentially that's 1, 2, and the next wave 3. So if we zoom in a little bit, so since it's currently playing out, if we throw another expansion here, then we would expect, if this is not A, B, C, but we actually finished with the correction here, then we would expect this movement now, that would be the next one too, this movement now to potentially already reach the $30 mark in wave 3. Then we would bounce from here in wave 4, and then we get a 5th wave that brings us above again. Yeah? So anyway, so that's the $30 put options that I have. So there I might end up with 400 shares, but I would be okay with that. Either way, I'm not going to buy back that option or those options, those 4 pieces, to keep the entire $2,400 premium. If I get the shares assigned, that's fine. Then we'll worry about on Monday which call options to write. And if I don't get them assigned, then I'll worry about on Monday which new put options to write. So I'm definitely going to pocket the full money here. Yeah. Theoretically, yeah, there's no point if I were to buy them back right now. So I make $1,700, so I would miss out on $700. However, I could then sell 4 new $30 put options, but they would then only bring around $450 per piece, so that would be less than $2,000, and I lose $700 here. So letting them expire and then writing the calls on Monday if I get shares, or selling other puts on Monday if I don't, seems to be the more profitable route here. My $25 put options, they are obviously safe in quotes unless we would drop below $25, which again I don't consider possible, because at 24.80 this pattern would become invalid already, and I don't think that the pattern here is wrong. I think I have it quite accurate here. So yeah, that's that thing. So I'm gonna pocket those almost $600 premium from here. Additionally, I have positions in UBS, so the bank that took over Credit Suisse. And my assumption is, or was, that maybe because of GameStop, maybe for some other reason, they might actually start to rally down. Yeah. Now I had 10 put options and I bought them for 376. And today I actually closed 6 of them for around 300 or 400 almost in profit. I'm not sure if we see it here still. So I sold one for 100, or yeah, I sold one for 100. And I sold 5 for also 100, so actually 600 minus the costs I paid. So yeah, effectively I should already be in profit, and I keep the other 4 options. They expire next Friday till the end, because there's 2 options. Yeah, I mean there are 4 that I have, but there are 2 options on the chart right now. We obviously, to some extent, have like an impulse wave up here, which means either this is an all-time high and we start to go down in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, or this is just a correction before we go further up, and that would be A, B, C. And today we actually, if that would be wave A and that would be wave B, then that would be the maximum target that we expect for wave C, and we bounced from that. Now that can either be because that is wave 1, 2, and here we have 1, 2, 3, 4, and get wave 5 and further down, or that can be because it's just A, B, C, and from here the stock will go further up, which means like taking as much profit to basically take out my cost, and only keeping 4 of the put options further seemed like the smart play today, because it ensures that if I'm right and we drop further, especially till the next week, so till the 21st, that's the other thing, so till here-ish, yeah. So even if we get a small corrective wave here and then a drop further, so if I'm right, I will, with those 4 additional options, they're currently at a $326, should be dollars profit, should make another 1,000 or maybe more, so like 7% of the portfolio or so return, so not too bad for a couple of weeks. And be happy if I'm wrong, and from here we actually have something like impulse, so 1, A, B, C, 2, and now we go up. Well, then I didn't lose any money on the trade because I already took out my investment. So that about that. Yeah. Now, additionally, if we look at the Standard & Poor's, I looked at it yesterday. Right now, in my opinion, we have very roughly 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means making that wave 4. Wave 4 goes till here now. Yeah. And which means here we also have 1, 2, 3, 4. Question is if we have that impulse already finished, but overall I think we'll have a big impulse that finishes around the 445, 446 mark. Again, it's just my personal opinion. So I have an alert on one hand if I'm in quotes too late, and that's already our turnaround point for the next corrective wave at 439, which we already touched here today, but I wasn't at home. So, but if we go through here, I will analyze the pattern, and if it looks like the start of an impulse down, I will buy put options. And if we, or when we reach the 446 mark, 445 mark, you can see my alert is for 445. I would also check if that are already 5 waves. For that, I would have to zoom in on a lower time frame. Yeah, so if that already checks out as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And if that's the case, I will also load up on some put options, maybe even longer dated, because I think that from here, if we look, I'm not sure. Let's take a weekly chart. I think that we might be correcting that entire thing. And if we correct that entire thing, we would expect to go down to, I don't know, like roughly here. I mean, not in a day and so on, yeah. But we wouldn't expect something like this to play out. So A, B, C, down into the 400 area. And obviously the if I'm right, it could be a killing in terms of profit. If I'm wrong, I just lose the premium. Either way, I'm keeping an eye on it. And yeah, like once the alerts trigger, we'll deal with that. And what else do we have? Our other gamble stocks in quotes are all not doing much. I mean, immersion is up a little bit. Pewdie is moving sideways for a couple of days already. Our other candidates are all in the red right now. Yeah, what else do I want to cover? Yeah, I'm saying all the time, I know. Yeah, I'm going to take a sip. 1 second. I need to stay hydrated. Yeah, circling back to GameStop, Keith Gill exercised part of his options yesterday and sold part of them to pay for the others, and now has 9 million shares, or 9,001,000 shares. And everybody's expecting the market to go up because now we have T-1, so market makers or the option sellers have to have 1 day to deliver the shares. And unlike with regular market orders, they actually have to buy them on the market if they didn't have them already. So it's possible that whoever sold the call options to Keith Gillen already noticed, oh shit, that guy bought all the options, he will likely exercise them, and that then maybe during the share offering that happened here, they bought those 4 million shares. I mean, we shouldn't forget GameStop sold 75 million shares here and sold 45 million shares a week or two before that. Yeah, so they got into the market. And if I would have been the person that sold those call options and wouldn't have them already, then I would have definitely bought them, especially after GameStop announces the offering of 75 million shares. And I see that there is an influx in shares. So I would have bought them to, yeah, like just cut my losses in quotes and not get fucked. Yeah. Now, either way, there's still a possibility that we see some huge spikes and whatnot. However, for me, I'm not speculating on any short squeeze or something like that. I'm just trading the pattern, and the pattern tells me we will go up. Yeah. So of course, it doesn't tell us we go to phone number shares, but to be fair, if the pattern checks out the way I see it, going from where we are now just to the next, to the $40 mark to finish this third wave, then fourth wave, then fifth wave. And then for the next bigger wave, we would have to be based on would be this one. Yeah, potentially. Now the next bigger wave would be this one, where we would expect the $57 to $63 mark. I mean, that's already more than 100% return potentially in the next couple of weeks, or maybe 2 or 3 months, and definitely isn't bad. And then where we go from there remains to be seen. If there's a short squeeze, remains to be seen, and so on. If there are still shorts out there, and we move based on the pattern that I think will or matches or is correct, then they will anyway suffer more and more, and eventually will have to close. So maybe there will be a short squeeze, maybe there won't. Either way, I think it's sad that we have the option that might turn out as ABC, and therefore we still get a push down potentially here, worst case here, so $26 mark. But from then we should have 5 waves up, and those 5 waves should bring us at least into the $34 area, but more likely into the $41 to $43 area. Yeah. So that about GameStop. And what else did I want to cover today? So I also looked in a few other things, and for me personally, it's not as much relevant for providing you with my opinion or my analysis or so. But for me personally, I actually decided I will start to also build a little bit of a dividend portfolio. So dividends or stocks that pay dividends, you don't make a fortune, but you have a steady extra income in quotes. However, I also expect the markets to crash in the not too distant future in quotes. I mean, I've been wrong with the timing. I expect the crash already for a year now. And I've been wrong. Yeah, happens. Nobody's always right. But I still believe that we will see in NVIDIA at most the $150 mark, roughly. Yeah, so we might have here 1, 2. Now we have wave 3. Maybe that is already wave 4. Maybe we still get a little bit of a dip. Then we get wave 5. And I think NVIDIA can at most reach the $150 mark. And then from that, at most, so we're already in the area where I would expect a potential turnaround. But that wave pattern here seems not to be finished yet. But yeah, at most 150, and from 150, I would expect it then to correct, and it would correct drastically. I mean, not that it would drop like 50% in a day or some shit like that, yeah. But maybe we see it if we switch to a monthly chart. So, and then disable the, yeah, okay, and then get rid of those things that then just, let's get rid of that and that, wherever those come from. So maybe you can see it with the naked eye, but that looks like either 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, or that is 1, 2, and that is now wave 3. And in that wave 3, we can also see potentially 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, which means from here, if that would already be the top, we would expect to retrace down to at least the 38.2 retracement in an ABC pattern, yeah. So which means that once that top is in, and again, I believe that the top at most would be at 150 per share. So there's still a little bit room. But we can see that from 150, we would expect a drop to at least 95, so around 30%. If we already have the top in, which again, I think is not the case, we would expect a drop to 86 at least, which is, I don't know, like more than 30%. Yeah, it should still be 30%, yeah, because it's a 38% retracement, yeah. But yeah, so it remains to be seen. I'm keeping an eye on that. NVIDIA is unfortunately too expensive for my portfolio, but once NVIDIA, in quotes, falls or starts to correct, obviously the Nasdaq will follow, and with that other things will follow as well. And so I'm keeping my eye on the Standard & Poor's because that's something I can afford to trade with not too much of a risk. So I can say, okay, I don't know, like use $1,000 to bet against it and still get a decent payout as a percentage if I'm right. Yeah, so that's that. And what else do we have? I think that's it for in quotes today. Yeah. So what else? Yeah, the other options are irrelevant. They expire Friday. We already accepted that I'll lose those $19. My $100 call option for GameStop. I regret a little bit that I didn't sell them for $500 profit each when I could, or $250 profit each. I don't remember how high they were, but on the other hand, I sold put option that actually paid for those, so it's not. I mean, it's still a loss because I could have had $240 more in my account, but yeah, at the end of the day, I got $300 more in premium than I paid for those, so it's not that bad. Last but not least, the weekend is coming. There is a small chance that I'm not here on Monday, so there might be no stream on Monday. However, it's an important weekend because it's been exactly a month now, or actually in 2 days. On Sunday, it will be a month since I moved to Interactive Broker and started trading there, and it's been a great month. Now, I'm not a millionaire or anything. You can see there now an astonishing 16,000 euro in the account. Started with 10,500 this month. The long-term history looks a little bit different. But yeah, we're not going to go into that right now. Might cover it if somebody cares. Hi, Akashi. Sorry that I didn't see your message earlier. Yeah, so hello. Great to have you here. And but yeah, it's been 67% return. We'll see how the day ends. So it might be plus minus a few percent. It's obviously an incredible, unsustainable return. It's mostly because of the high implied volatility that GameStop has that drives the option premiums up, combined with yeah, like having the right feeling and getting lucky where needed with selling the right options. Also had a few trades that didn't work out. We know that, so I lost a couple $100 on, I think 500 total on betting against SPY on the wrong days. Also, so we only had one SPY option, 0 DTE that went well, and 2 that went not well. And yeah, then for how is FIFA doing? FIFA is at 53. Okay, that's a problem for next Friday, but that's $150. Yeah. So like overall, it's been a good month. So it's been definitely a good first month on Interactive Broker. One thing I wanted to do, not sure if it works now. I usually want to close out my balances at least once per week, and this now worked. And now it worked, yeah. So it didn't work earlier. I complained about that it would leave up a currency leverage if I closed the Swiss franc position. But basically, yeah, that trade now, the 600 Swiss franc is basically the profit I locked in from closing 6 of my 10 put options against UBS. Yeah, and GameStop remains to be seen. I said I expected to, worst case, we get a wave C here. I get 400 shares assigned, and it's going to be nicely profitable with those 400 shares next week. Or not even worst case, actually. Worst case is I'm right, we go up from here. I don't get the 400 shares. I just pocketed 2,400 premium, and I have to think about what options I can sell next week. But yeah, I think that's it. I may go live on my Twitch channel later still, or maybe not, it's already 8 p.m. Yeah, to continue my recordings of Hellblade: Senua's Sacrifice, the first part. I already have the first 4 chapters, I think, recorded, and now I have to record the 5th. But again, not sure if I will stream that or if I even will do that today. Other than that, there are no streams scheduled for the weekend. As said, I might not be at home at all. And so the next stream, potentially Monday, otherwise definitely, or actually worst case, only on Wednesday. So it's possible that I'm also not here on Tuesday. We will see. And either way, you know, like, subscribe, enable notifications so you get an email when I go live. And yeah, I'm gonna be curious how to incorporate the 8-ball. Will I be streaming on Monday? Concentrate and ask again. Okay, will I be streaming on Monday? Don't count on it. Yeah, so I mean, we'll see. So that's why you can subscribe, like, you know, enable notifications so you get notified when there is a stream. Other than that, I hope you all also had a profitable week and a great week. And yeah, like, enjoy your weekend, and see you all then on Monday, potentially, or worst case on Wednesday, with another episode of Daily Market Mastery, or see you in one of my other, either on my Twitch channel or my other YouTube channel, on Discord or somewhere else. So anyway, thanks for tuning in. See you all soon, and till then, bye-bye.